We are going live. We're live. Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and this is Movie Crap Live. I'm just waiting to hear myself there. Oh, I sound pretty good. There we go. All right. Hello. Hey, Alex. How's it going? Austin, Bruce Parker, Pete Docter Solo, Twisted Razor, Sunspot Mill, Bloxy Oxenwinkle, Blaze the Vark. Is that right? Anyway, Cornbread, Austin again, Nathaniel Foga, Lauren 2010 or 210. Sorry, Zane Powers, Nathaniel Foga. Maybe I already said that. Sunspot Mill. I'll just read whatever his name is here. Sinram. Okay. Let me send out the tweet there so people know we're here. We can get rid of Twitter. My weekly gym alarm. Jordan Bouchard, Discount Viscount, Purple Goop, Bloxy Oxenwinkle, Major Mekazawa, Ace the Windrider, M Blood T, Elwood DD, Ashley Sheenid. Anyway. No, Alex needs a good show. We got to do a good show for Alex today. I think we can all agree on that. Or, anyway, sorry. Anyway. Or whatever. Alex, I hope you're doing okay. All right. Let me Jim will never stop calling me by my full name. Well, that's your thing name. Ryan Walterson has returned. Okay, I can show my face now. Try to pronounce my name again. Adrian Dizendegui? Oh, whoa, Austin. A bit anxious. My sister-in-law in the hospital. Her water broke, so pins and needles. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Well, congratulations to your sister-in-law. Congratulations. Bloxy did it's clearly time for me to show my fucking face. Sold and Buster's right down there. Anyway, hello. Do you like this weird, different little angle? I did the lighting different. Maybe it looks better. Probably not. In my dreams, it does. In my dreams, it does. But Bloxy Oxenwinkle gave the first super chat of the night, which said best popcorn flavor. Why is it cheese and caramel? First off, oh, hey, George Sakic, I think. But cheers to you, Bloxy. I'd say it used to be butter. I did have a food poisoning incident with popcorn, so I'm not as into popcorn with everyone. But I do like caramel popcorn. I would get one of those tins, but I don't need to eat that much popcorn. Anyway, cheers to you, Bloxy. Yeah, I realize the reason the angle's different is I realized I didn't really know how to light when I started using these lights and with this camera. So I'm trying a different thing. I have a light over there that's different that you usually see here. No one cares. But if you do, I'm trying. We'll see if I do this because I'm trying to make it look a little nicer. We're trying to improve here. Anyway, I had the tobacco. Oh, I think you mean Tabasco sauce. Do you mean tobacco sauce? That sounds gross. But Tabasco, in Maryland, Baltimore, we had the Old Bay on the popcorn, and that was something I grew up with a lot. I haven't done that in a while. Nobody wants that in anywhere but Baltimore. But anyway, all right. It has been a fucking week. Holy shit. What was this week? I thought we were going to be chill this year, and nobody told anybody at all. I don't know. That was both upsetting and just like, can we have a fucking break already? Like, Jesus. Old Bay is like a seasoning sauce. You put it on crabs, so of course it is popular in Baltimore. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, tonight the part of Nicolas Cage will be played by Ryan Wilcherson. I love that. But yeah, it was a crazy week. I'm not going to get too much into that because there's not much movie news other than I think the headdress guy apparently did anime voiceover work, and it sounds like he's pretty much blacklisted from anything. I thought about putting out a tweet that says the Pizza Party podcast has also removed Donald Trump, but I thought that was stupid. Or won't have him on. I didn't do that. I guess people would have liked that. But then I would have tagged Nolan. I'd have to ask Nolan, are we banning Trump? That would have taken at least 5 minutes, and I just wasn't up for it. But anyway, yeah, it just sucks when this stuff happens because I thought last week would be the slow week, and this week would be the fun week where I'd have tons of stuff, but that fucked up society. So, Adrian Dizengal, could you just make an audio recording so I could do this? Anyway, I'm sorry, that's rude, but it's hard of me. Who would direct a Capitol Hill movie? I was thinking about that. Who would be, and cheers to you, thank you for the super chat. Who would, hello, Catbot. I thought about that actually. Who would do it? I think you could do an amazing, I think the movie could just be inside the movie could just be solely inside the Capitol during the thing. You wouldn't even, you just hear like Trump getting them all upset and then they'd go in. I think Greengrass could actually do it. I know that's like a basic answer, but I actually think he could do a good one if you just had it be just in the incident. I don't know how the enough setup that you would need, but or like the people do The Purge. They could do a great one. The Purge has been doing this political. The Purge new guys, like, watch the Purge movies. There's 4 of them. Everyone but the first one is pretty good. Just watch them. Seriously, The Purge warned all of us. I don't know. Maybe more people should have checked out the second one, which is the best one. He goes second, third, fourth, first. Anyway, I would say whoever the guy who's directed I think he directed most. If he didn't direct the 4th one, I would have him do it because he would do a good job, and he could go to the horror lengths it should, and the ridiculous notes. I would let somebody funny. I would make it like a studio priority and get a good screenwriter to redo the screenplay and all that stuff. I think that's what I would do, really. Anyway, nothing big happened this week. We watched 2 movies. I showed Sophie Wolfwalkers finally, and that was great. Again, first time I'd seen it since I saw it because of because of TIFF. Saw it again, still really love that movie. One of the best movies of the year if you haven't seen Wolfwalkers. Sophie really loved it. She was really invested in it immediately. And that's just a great movie, and Cartoon Saloon did a wonderful job. And then additionally to that, before that, I have been, because no one's on the subway, so you can like sit down. So I've actually been watching, because of Love Exposure has actually come into my life at a good time, because when I was watching that in chunks, kind of like on the subway and places, it made me want to watch other stuff. So I started watching We Can Be Heroes, and I was like, oh, I feel bad. I feel like Sophie should watch this. So we watched that with her, and that was fun. That was a cool kids movie. Rodriguez makes some cool kids movies, I mean, it's like kids movie full stop. I've noticed some adults are like, this is so crappy, but it's like a kids thing. I don't understand what I don't know. I think they're kind of missing the target demo, which is sort of what's going on with Camp Coral. Like, you have these adults who never watch kids entertainment, who want to make a statement on kids entertainment, which is a bizarre situation. But for kids, if you watch it with a kid loves it, because Rodriguez, I did a Spy Escape video on him. You should check it out. It's all about Spy Kids, but it's basically about how he makes these films to empower kids, and he shows kids doing things. He makes them in a very kid, colorful way, and his shooting style just works so well. I don't know if I'll do a review of We Can Be Heroes. This is pretty much my review. Is this like his shooting style, the way he does kind of cartoony CGI just works so well with kids. It is like a perfect way to do it. I just think he's really good at the kind of kid movies he's making. It's just, I quite like them. So I think we're going to watch Spy Kids, Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I don't know about shorts, but if we get down that far, who knows? Anyway, yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Oh, the movie store, the video store memories video is interesting because it's a video I have thought about doing since I started YouTube. And I could never quite get it right. And so the footage of Video Center in it is from 2009, like pretty closely when I started YouTube. And I thought, oh, I'll talk about it and then I'll cut to this footage, which isn't great footage. And then it just like never happened. I never like thought about it. And then I shot this thing. Actually, the video you see is actually from between when there was the movie crap where there was news stories and when you got the streaming movie crap live. There was this short version which was just editorials which were edited by someone else and all that stuff, and I shot that for that thing for him to edit, and I don't think it ever happened. I don't remember if I sent it to him, but I don't think I did, and been sitting on a hard drive. So that video was from 2018. That was actually from my last apartment. So it actually came together. I was just like, everyone's upset, and like, after we watched We Can Be Heroes, I didn't feel up to shooting a review that night, and I didn't want to do Party Monster on a Friday, so I just thought, it just kind of came together, and I was really happy with it. I just had this sudden inspiration, and it was kind of cool. I'm really glad of trying to do that. I thought that would be, I don't know, it was cool. And see, people seem to like it, so maybe I was thinking I could do one of those on other kind of movie theater memories or Baltimore's. Maybe every now and then I'll do something like that. I can just, you can just do that. Oh, Rance FL, you grew your hair back for that video. Yeah. I think if you notice, and I have extra footage from that shoot in 2009 that I might cut up. Anyway, Jordan Bouchard said, everyone check out the video store memory video Jim released. It's really great. Thank you, Jordan Bouchard. Thank you very much. Cheers to you. And I did get your Patreon message. I'm sorry I didn't get to post that on or respond to you, but it's in, don't worry. Cheers to you, Jordan Bouchard. All right. What was Ransom Film? There's a Rodriguez project. We'll do that, and then are you doing Rodriguez reviews? Did I miss that? Oh, you're doing a Rodriguez retrospective. I was thinking that I might shoot a We Can Be Heroes. I don't know when I'll put it out, but Rodriguez has a really interesting career. He's an interesting director, and he's had such a comeback this year. He had a huge movie with We Can Be Heroes and did the Boba Fett return episode. Like, he is on fire right now. Like, congrats to him. He deserves it. I did get Austin. I think I got Sin Ram, Austin, and Jordan Bouchard. Yeah. Anyway, but Jordan, you did a good job tweeting at me to make sure I got it. So, but most of the time I do check right before the show. If you do it like after 10, I'm not, then it might get bumped to the next show for the Patreon questions. Anyway, is the Pizza Party podcast going to continue this year? To my understanding, it was. I haven't heard anything else. Spoilers? What did I just spoil? Did I spoil something? Anyway, I believe so. I haven't heard otherwise. Anyway, yeah, let's get into. Where was we? Let's get into the actual show we're doing, where we talk about. Why do I have what? Okay, where we actually talk about movie news. But before we do that, first off, I wanted to say everything I do, all the videos I make in this YouTube channel and this show and everything is supported by viewers like you, either through my Patreon, which you can find in the description of this video, or through Super Chats during the show. Super Chats, I will take a chug of Red Bull for you and, read your Super Chat and all that stuff. And Patreon has a lot of cool options, including, postcards, more power in the movie review vote, a selection in the movie review vote, exclusive videos. You're actually going to get the movie review vote winners video, I think tomorrow night. No, maybe not tomorrow night. Monday or tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon, you're going to get the movie vote winners video. So you get to know who wins the movie review vote before anyone else. Commentary videos, all that, postcards, Skype calls. It's really great. I really appreciate all the support. I have a really great fan base, and you guys totally help this channel move and grow, and help me get a new computer this year. And very much thank you for doing so. If you're financially able to help the channel, it's very much appreciated. If you cannot and just watch, or I'd appreciate a like or a subscribe if you're into it. Notifications on. If you want that, then it's there, that option, and it helps the channel grow, and it helps you see more of this stuff if you'd like to, the stuff we're talking about earlier in the show and all that stuff. But thank you in general for watching. And of course, there's also the Discord. If you like hearing me talk to these wonderful people in the chat, and you like to hang out with these people other than, during the show, then you can on the Discord join up. There's all sorts of cool selections like General, which is actually sound. We always joke about General, but this week, like, they brought up Turkish Star Wars. I talked about how Knockforce tried to make a Turkish Star Wars song. We never did. But now, that was a spontaneous conversation that happened. They get news on the shorts I'm doing a couple hours earlier than Twitter. There's also the Ask Jim section, suggestions for Jim section, the novelty cards chat. There's gaming chat, which I have nothing to do with, but there's a lot of cool channels, and it's a great community, and Austin and Zane Powers do an awesome job. Hey, TuneJ723. All right, so let's get into it. As I will say, we're in this kind of weird area with movie news where they're kind of are big stories, but sort of like a smattering of all sorts of stories. So I'm going to keep... the podcast is going to return. Okay, didn't know. He did say that? No one told me that. It said he is taking... Plus... Yeah, January is not a great month, but... the Turkish Star Wars thing, we were just trying to sample it, or I was trying to sample it because I made the music, and we both watched it. I think there was sort of a beat, but I could never really make it. It never was good enough to make an EP or a mixtape or anything like that. So it just didn't happen. I might have it was just not, it just didn't work. I really wanted it to work. I tried several times, but it didn't work. Good for Pan. Good for Pan. All right. Hey, Zodberg, how's it going? All right. So first, the big news of fuck you, it's January. That's true. I wish, the one thing about the ad revenue being low that sucks is movie channels, usually when the Oscars are going, we have like a lot of stuff to do. So it's a little, that sort of stinks, but whatever. All right. So the first news I have for Movie Crap is the Puppybowl will be happening this year. There's going to be a Puppybowl. I'm curious. I've seen every Puppybowl ever. Since the first one, I'm a big supporter of it. The Kitten Bowl was all right, but it just, as much as I like cats, I think I like the All Kitten Halftime Show more than I like. I've watched a lot of the Kitten Bowls. I think I watched all those. But the Puppy Bowl will happen on February 7th at 7 p.m. I'm assuming there's going to be a Super Bowl. Is football still happening? I really don't know or care. But I will watch the Puppy Bowl because why wouldn't you? So the Puppy Bowl is happening. Everyone can be reassured. Forever that's happening. The other in my, I guess I have a couple sillier things at the beginning. The other thing, I'll talk about this. So the Swedish Film Festival, which is one of the biggest Swedish film festivals, apparently it's just called the Swedish Film Fest, the Gothenburg Film Festival, one of, 4 days to the 4-year anniversary of Monster Trucks. Is that true, Austin? Well, cheers to Monster Trucks. There we go. Cheers. I think I have the Creech thing up there. Just the Creech. The truck is in Sophie's room. We're not going in there. She's asleep. Anyway. The Gothenburg Film Festival, which is apparently one of Sweden's biggest film events. But they decided that, they usually have tons of people come in from around the world. It's a big film festival. Obviously, with COVID, they can't do that. So what they're doing is they're going to get the experience what the festival is calling isolated cinema. What happens is you apply to be a part of this thing, and then they will transport you to this lighthouse-esque island. And then when you're on the island, you do nothing but watch these 60 movie premieres for a week, and then they pick you up if they're able to, if the weather's not too bad. And then you have to make vlogs, I guess, talking about your experience and stuff. Anyway, I tweeted, and this was actually really cool because it was on Screen Crush, and I tweeted that this seems like a plot that is specifically engineered to murder, that is engineered to specifically murder me, and Screen Crush retweeted it, and that was actually really cool because I've read Screen Crush and Matt Singer stuff for a long time, so I felt really cool about that. But that was just like, I don't know, this is the only place that anyone would, Screen Crush is a good site, but it made me feel pretty cool. But I like that Alex says, I bet the gym fandom is the only group of people to talk about monster trucks at all. I've never seen it played on Movie Channel. Yeah, it doesn't really get played a lot at all. Wow, this is making... Stop making noise, phone. And now you're doing a thing? Oh, that's a cool throwback photo. Okay, anyway. Yeah, so basically in this isolated cinema, you apply, you write them a letter. I thought about writing a letter on stream and stuff, but I sort of don't want to win because I think that's not fair to like my family that I disappear for a week for this thing. And then apparently you have to be available the week before to go over the plans, which by the way, that does not sound like you need a week. Like, isn't it like, what food do you like? This food? Cool. Like, I don't understand that part sounds scary. Like, what do you need a week? Are they like going to psychologically evaluate you? This sounds horrific. I would love to know what happens. If anyone finds out what happens with this, I'd really like to know, like in general, like what was the result of this. So I'm not going to apply. So if this was specifically made to murder just me, then I'm sorry. It sounds like you went through a lot of work. But if it's not, which it probably isn't, because I don't think anyone would go to those lengths. I would actually like to see what the result of this. It's kind of a neat kind of thing. I think it is a good way, kind of a good spin on what to do during COVID. Like, this is what we're going to do. We'll just send one person to an island. I do think it should be, and not to be like a elitist dick, I think it should be sort of a cinephile type person who can like speak intelligently about these films, because clearly people talk about, spend a lot of time on these. It's 60 movie premieres, so let's just let them, be able to do that. Anyway, be able to talk about them correctly, I guess. Sorry, I'm like not saying anything. Gonna drink some water. So in one actually kind of real movie news, and then a sort of a silly thing. Roku, the Roku app, which is on Roku, it's basically like a free movie app on Roku. They have a lot of them, actually, different ones you can get that are not made by Roku, but this one specifically is just called Roku, and they have acquired the Quibi library. Now they're Jeffrey Katzenberg, they sold it. Basically, they have the rights to these properties for 7 years, and then they all go back to the original creator, so I guess Roku gets it for 7 years. There's a lot of specifics of this deal that we don't know about, and one of which is a lot of these shows have different shots and work differently based on how you're holding the phone, like different shots that were actually made narratively that have a narrative connection, or how are they going to cut up these things, the original Quibi cuts, are they going to recut them? We don't really know, and there's been a lot of people saying, oh hey Robbie, oh hey Izzy, how's it going? A lot of people have been saying that, the Quibi things have been, lost media has now been refound, but I actually don't think that's true, because the Quibi experience, I'm not trying to be silly or anything, but like, watching that Reno 911 I talked about, where it's like someone watching a video and you see their reaction to it as well as the video, and you have to move, do the landscape mode, portrait mode sort of thing over and over again. And I think I'm curious how they're going to do that. Like, is it going to be a split screen? Like, I know the mobile one where you have to see, like, you kind of get different views on what's going on. Like, I'm really curious how they're going to do that. And even if they change it, that's not the original experience. Like, I feel like we're still actually going to lose certain things. There is a Farrelly Brothers show that was made, and I forget the name of it, starring Dave Franco, actually, with Bill Murray in it, that looks like it was mostly shot, that never aired on Quibi. It never came out. So will that be part of it? I'm really curious what's going to happen with this and their reformatting of it, I think. But it is interesting. I assumed Quibi would sell to someone. I think the Roku app mainly is just advertising on the screensaver of Roku that isn't watch The Mandalorian, watch, Disney Plus again, sort of stuff like that. They have a lot of kind of crappier free movies. They don't have a ton of stuff that I think. What's up, chicken butt? That's nice. That's cute. Thanks, Izzy. I can't come up with a good chicken butt. Chicken. So see, Sovio says chicken pie and all these funny things. So, but anyway, the Quibi, the Roku Quibi thing is interesting. I'm just curious how they're going to do it. I think as of right now, it just sort of like lost. Like, the whole idea of it is cool, and I'd like to see like Dummy, the Anna Kendrick show, which I heard a review of post Quibi, and I wanted to do it. I still have Quibi on my phone, which I downloaded. I deleted it after my thing ended, and then I re-downloaded it, and it wouldn't let you sign up at that point. But Like things like the Golden Arm and certain shows will work perfectly. So I'm curious how they're going to figure that out. That's what's going to be the interesting thing about this Roku deal. How are they going to figure out the certain shows that specifically needed Quibi, that format? Because some shows did, not a lot of them did, but some shows really did. And so I think we'll have to see. But there's some great documentaries. There's some good stuff on there. I didn't get to see the Urban Outfitters. Not the Urban Outfitters. Whatever that Vice documentary that I didn't get to see. There's some stuff on there I would like to see, so I'm excited for when it gets on Roku. I'll actually watch some of it. So yeah, Bloxy Axwinkle said 10-ton chum Roku exclusive. Oh my god, 10-ton chum. Cheers to you, Bloxy Axwinkle. Watch my video, the best Quibi shows never made, about all the Quibi shows that got announced that never actually got made. That 10-ton chum is ridiculous. Michelle Rodriguez show. Well, I'll tell you, but watch the video anyway, which is basically about they would put a ball of chum and people would be inside of the chum and it would lower. This is real. It was in the New York Times, actually. So in the idea, there'd be a ball like a cage and someone would be in it. It'd be surrounded by chum. Basically, they'd lower it into the water and fish and sharks and stuff would attack it, and so they would get a camera in the chum and also over the chums, and then the ball would keep being lowered down into the depths while like sharks and stuff attack it. God, that sounds like a nightmare. Anyway, it just yeah, what? Jeremy Johns did a bit where he But yeah, that's what 10-ton chum is. It's a real, like, I was really surprised. I think they had no plans on doing it. I'm very curious if that comes up anywhere. I just, whatever. Is Roku, guy named Crystal S, is Roku going to release any of the unreleased Quibi projects? I think the only one is the Fairley Brothers one. To my knowledge, I couldn't find too many. I assume if they bought the library, anything that's finished, like that's completed, I think they will. But the made ones, I don't think that will happen. I think they'll just go somewhere else, I'm assuming. But there's been a lot of things about this, and I don't normally talk about this is controversial, but I guess it's a movie thing. There's this Denmark kids show called John Dillermand, and it's like basically, and I couldn't find too much on YouTube. You can find more of people reacting to it. It's about this. It is made for little kids, but it's about a man who has a really long penis basically, and he fights a lion with his penis, and he floats on balloons and stuff. It just didn't look very good, and I don't understand. Maybe societally they feel like they need to have that in Denmark. I don't really know their culture. It was just kind of I don't really react to it other than I'm just is this real? No one would ever show this to a kid, and I don't really understand the need for it, or what. It just looked like a total waste. Who thought that was a good? It just looked like a gross kind of kid show. I just didn't. I don't have a funny reaction other than I was I can't believe this guy fought a lion with that, or floated on balloons, or almost got it cut off in the intro scene. It's just I don't know. It seems like people are upset in the English world, but I don't really love when people get upset about it's another culture. Maybe in that culture that's perfectly acceptable. I'm just gonna put it on that. I'm just gonna be maybe for your culture that's cool. I don't know. I don't think it should be on Nick Jr. I don't think Nick Jr. would put that on. I don't think they ever would. So if they do, then I'll get upset about it and maybe watch it more or something. But it just seems like the worst idea ever. But to me. All right. So I did tweet a little bit about this just because it was major news. And it is. Man, I'm drinking some water. So, Michael Waldron has been announced to write the new Star Wars movie that Kevin Feige is making. So, what's the deal specifically? Oh, get away here. That was weird. What's the deal specifically with this that we know? First off, is that we haven't heard much about Kevin Feige's Star Wars film. We don't know what it's about. We don't have a release date. It wasn't announced during the Disney investors call. I kind of forgot about it during that whole deluge of Disney stuff that just kept hitting us like crazy. And it is surprising because we haven't heard anything. It's also, we haven't heard anything till now. So it does feel like Disney is greenlighting stuff currently, but like generally, obviously, but this seems like something that'd be like a 2025 at earliest kind of thing. But Michael Waldron, I think, also comes up is that who the fuck is this guy? And why is Disney giving him so much? And then you find out that he was the showrunner on Loki, and he also wrote, or is one of the credited writers at least, because a lot of people write these things, Doctor Strange too. Clearly Disney has a lot of faith in this guy. He's taking on, now this would be his third high priority thing for Disney. We haven't seen any of his stuff, but that's actually a good sign that a studio wants to sign someone before something comes out, because they're like, oh, this is good. We gotta because he has a big overall deal with Disney. Who he is basically is he was a writer for he was more of a producer actually on Rick and Morty, but he wrote the one episode where Rick keeps going to that toilet seat in the dimension and stuff. But he produced like 10 episodes. He won an Emmy with Rick and Morty. He seems to have been with Dan Harmon for a while. He wrote on Harmon's Quest. He was a writing assistant on Community. I'd venture to say, and maybe this is I conjecture, and I didn't look up the specific episodes he was a writing assistant on, but I'm assuming he's probably met the Russo brothers before. It is, because since they worked on Community, I'm wondering why Marvel relies so heavily on people who worked with Dan Harmon, but not Dan Harmon, which seems to be a thing, because this guy seems like he very much, most of his career is working on major Dan Harmon things, whether being a writing assistant on Community, working on Harmon Quest, working on Rick and Morty. It seems like he's gotten better positions as he's gone up with Dan Harmon. So that is interesting that they keep these people around. Maybe Dan Harmon is good at finding talent. Maybe Kevin Feige, I do, there's a connection there. This is interesting because we're going to hear more about this guy, because clearly he is someone that Disney really likes. They've given him 3 big things. I'm very curious about Loki now, and giving him now Star Wars. We don't know anything about what this is, if it's about past characters, whatever it is. I know people have said, oh, I've heard what it's going to be, and like, who knows, because this guy's like writing it. But I think we'll be hearing more about this guy, and he's definitely someone to watch at this point. I think his name went from, you might have read that he was doing Loki, you might have heard he was doing Doctor Strange, but now he's like someone to watch. For me, I wouldn't be surprised if he becomes, he hasn't really directed or something. Maybe he just wants to be a writer, producer. We'll see on that. I know Dan Harmon did do work on the first Doctor Strange, but it was kind of like punch up kind of stuff. And it wasn't like the Dormammu thing at the end, supposedly. So I wasn't there, but that's what I remember him saying on his podcast. So it seems like he's someone, maybe also because Marvel doesn't like people who are problems or could bring them any controversy. And, Dan Harmon's not great at doing that one. But it is interesting that Marvel, that seems to be someone that they've definitely like seasoned out, and Kevin Feige's worked with twice, and he has a lot of faith in him. So I'm curious who the director is. I know we've heard rumors from Peyton Reed, I would say would be someone who I would assume. We've heard rumors. But it's also like Feige has like other franchises to launch with, like Fantastic Four. He put what's his face from the Spider-Man movies. He's clearly going to put someone on the X-Men movies. So I think the real question is, it seems like he's just doing one Star Wars movie, and that might be what more directors want, and how is this all going to work out is questions we all have. But essentially his Star Wars movie is moving forward in some capacity with this new writer who sounds interesting, and Disney seems to have a lot of faith in him. So now let's talk about Peacock and The Office. John Watt, sorry about that. So here's the thing about Peacock. I thought Peacock would be great because it'd be a free service. We'd get a ton of, there'd be some stuff that you'd have to pay for, but mainly be an ad-supported streaming service from a major corporation like Comcast, Universal, whatever it is. And I thought when they got The Office, there's no way they're going to put it all behind a paywall. That would be stupid. They have all this, they could make so much money not doing that. Well, they did do that. They actually did. Basically how it works, you're basically, even on their pricing model, it has how much of The Office you are getting. So if you pay for free, you only get the first 2 seasons of The Office. So really only 1 good season of The Office. And the first season is not good. The first season of that show is not good. No, it's just not. Then for $4.99, you do get all the episodes and all their exclusive content, like bonus scenes and all the iTunes stuff that's sort of been unavailable, and DVD extras and shorts. You do get all that, but you do pay for ads for $4.99, and you get everything with no ads for $9.99. And they literally put on the pricing model how much of The Office you get. That is so stupid, because you have such a good model with Pluto blowing up. Like, Viacom shut down everything but Pluto because it's so profitable. You're launching Peacock. They're making so many bad choices. Like, no one's going to pay for that fucking thing. Just like, the problem is what they should have done with Peacock is done like smaller shows. Like, I don't think the Amber Ruffin show costs that much. I haven't watched the Larry Wilmore show. I haven't heard much about it actually either. But things like that. But spending as much as they did on like Saved by the Bell and things like that, like pretending you're Netflix, don't pretend you're Netflix. Find a way to get people to, because I think a lot of people would watch it on there. And the other thing they did with The Office, which I find, okay, this is the thing, and I bring up the Pluto thing. They have their own channels on there, much like Pluto, where you can just watch like a certain show. Like, they have an Unsolved Mysteries one. They have a late night with Jimmy Fallon, stuff like that. The problem with these channels is they don't even play full episodes of Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. They play like segments, like the YouTube ones. They kind of mix it up, so that's sort of okay. But for a while, for The Office, they didn't have The Office, so they just had clips of The Office, which is all they could legally play. And I thought, oh, as soon as they get The Office, they'll just have a channel that's just The Office, which would be highly profitable. I think everyone would be like, oh, I would just love to turn on a channel and The Office is there, and it's a random episode, and you could put the exclusive content on there, much like how Roku does with the Mystery Science Theater channel. They play the film crew and the weirder, different stuff as well for the fans, and it's like a fun thing you can always hop in on. And I thought for The Office, like, people would love that, and people would sit and watch the ads with that. They didn't do that. What they did, because I looked into it, I was like, did they do it? That sounds like they have a winning streaming service. No, Peacock didn't do that. They have this thing that's like an ASMR Office thing, where it's the Zen of The Office, and you hear the sounds of The Office and like noise, like paper moving and things like that. So if you really want to live in an office or miss being in an office, which no one does, then you can watch that. I do not understand, like, Peacock, you could have been so good. Like, it's so upsetting to me, because it was like, I saw so much potential, and you made something that was worse than what you had, and you had a thing. It just, I don't understand. Like, you could have, you had a profitable thing right there. Like, you just, and like, even with the tiered pricing, like, but you can watch The Office channel, be random, and people would, like, you did that. Like, this is such an easy thing. I don't understand it. It's just like, holy crap. The Peacock Office model is horrible. Just Peacock is like, if it didn't have Amber Ruffin, I would give up on that fucking service. Like, I did watch random Unsolved Mysteries on there recently. Although I mainly watch Unsolved Mysteries through Pluto. It's just like, Pluto has way less overhead than Peacock and is infinitely better. Tubi is better. Like, Peacock is such the bottom ring of the streaming services, and they could really be better if they were more free. And they do have a lot of cool, more obscure stuff, and I love that. But it upsets me how easy it would be to fix that streaming service. And I thought this would be their time. This was your time, guys, and you fucked it up. I just can't believe that. I just can't. Anyway, so very thirsty today. Rowan Atkinson has confirmed they are working on a Mr. Bean animated movie. I'm not really as into the Mr. Bean animated things, but that could be something cool. I want to do one short thing, and then I'll get into the Pete Docter thing, I guess. Earwig and Earwig and the Witch is getting a theatrical release through Fathom Events, which, it's not only unsafe to go to the theater, but Fathom Events doesn't give you a lot of times like they always do. That's something I never liked about anime releases, is when they do that. But it's going to get a limited Fathom release on February 3rd and then be released for everyone on HBO Max on February 5th. This is really cool because I want to see that movie. It looks like a cool movie. It's from Goro Miyazaki, so I'm sure Hayao Miyazaki will call him that day and tell him to go fuck himself and then hang up. But because that's their relationship, you know what I mean? By the way, if anyone, sorry, I'm trying to say, El Mono Loco. I saw a couple people. Did Ryan just say they may be a peacock, but they're acting like a vulture? I think Al Nick. Who else was there? I'm sorry if I'm missing you. It's hard to follow everyone. Anyway, but yeah, so Earwig and the witch there. Earwig and the Witch. What I think is kind of interesting about this is, so that with Oscar consideration being moved back, wouldn't that make this eligible for Best Animated Feature? Which is something maybe HBO is like, hey, since we have Ghibli now, let's try to get you an Oscar nomination. Let's try to get Goro an Oscar nomination, which I'm sure Studio Ghibli was like, wait, what? Goro? We don't even like that guy. Sometimes we throw trash at him because we think it's funny. But that is definitely what HBO or Warner Media is trying to do. I'm curious. I think Soul's probably just going to win, but it's going to be between Soul, Wolfwalkers. If Netflix remembers they released Shaun the Sheep this year, I'm sure I forget what they'll pick. Or probably Over the Moon. But it'll be interesting. The timing of this was timed because they wanted it to work. They wanted to get an Oscar nomination, basically. But hey, that's cool because I will get to see a new Ghibli film on HBO Max, and I'm excited for that. So that'll be cool. I didn't expect to see this so soon. So that's something to look forward to for everyone who has an HBO Max thing. Thank you, Will, for the very generous super chat. Will says Peacock literally drops and picks movies or shows on the drop of a dime. By the way, Peacock membership is absolutely worthless as they still play ads. What the fuck does that? Or man, who the fuck does? Cheers to you, Will. Well, I think didn't Hulu used to do that? Do they still do that? I guess it's like a Hulu model mixed with an old Hulu model. Peacock is awful. No, Shaun the Sheep came out in 2020. That was 2020, believe it or not. Believe it or not. Anyway, cheers to you, Will. Thank you for the super chat, man. Okay. Where were we? Pete Docter. Pete Docter did an interview with the Hollywood Reporter kind of on like his future of Pixar, how he's been doing running Pixar, everything like that. The bigger news, first off, the big news, did you know Pete Docter is spelled Docter? It's not doctor, like the word doctor. I just found that out today. Do you know how many video tags I have to fix now? Like, it's Docter. I Googled it, and it was like my mind was blown. It's not like doctor. There's an E there. As this has always been, and we've never noticed it. Anyway. I like Ryan says, you're speaking American mumbo jumbo. What is this Helu? But yeah. I like it, clearly the doctor thing. I'm telling you, I'm gonna look at maybe like I had a momentary, it's Pete it's Pete Docter. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Docter. I'm serious. More like Pete Nurse. Good one, Ransom Film. That's really what it is. The one it's just like so weird. Didn't anyone know this the whole time? Like, I think my whole time I've liked Pete Docter things, I've just been like, I've never questioned it. And I probably tweeted it and no one's corrected me. Maybe you all were just being nice. And he is not a real doctor, to my understanding. Hey, not plausible. How's it going? All right. So anyway, despite my earth-shattering news about the spelling of Pete Docter's last name, mainly about how his transition to being the head of Pixar, the big things to take away from this piece. And someone asked me for a source about Pete Docter not directing again, and I provided him with that on Twitter, which was like, have I ever not given a source? Anyway, so he just says it seems like he will not be directing for some time. You kind of get that vibe from Soul anyway, that he is kind of just likes being a mentor. He likes being able to take the studio into newer, stranger directions, likes being able to do... Nick Tendo's here. How's it going? I liked your Dunkaccino today. He likes being able to, approving certain things for people, changing certain things, doing differently than John Lasseter did. In fact, he actually... Bao was going to have a different ending. It wasn't going to have the weird ending it does, but Pete Docter actually made them put it back in. He was like, no, I don't want the Pixar ending. I want your ending, which I think is what Pixar needs, because Pixar has been very stale for the past decade. I don't think, other than what Pete Docter's done, it hasn't been as exciting in generally. I think it's too many sequels, and he's admitted they have to do sequels, but they're not going to, I think, from the Spark shorts and things like that, I think he's going to take the studio in a different direction. I hope so. Apparently he was always the pick to replace Lasseter. Everyone, Kat Mueller said that he was always kind of the one considered as the replacement. And the fact that he never left to do something else somewhere else, I'm sure they're well, he's just going to keep moving on up till he's the boss anyway, because Brad Bird and Andrew Stanton and everyone else went off or sexually harassed someone. He did admit that he has talked to Lasseter since the firing, and he wouldn't go into it. I don't know what that means. They didn't elaborate. They kind of just we've talked. That's all you need to know. So yeah, he has talked about wanting to do more diverse things with Pixar, do different kinds of things. More power to him. I hope that happens. He also admitted, and this is something that is interesting, everything that was announced at Disney Investor Day was not greenlit by him. It was greenlit before he got there. So in terms, although we've heard from Bao and we've heard also from Burrow and several of the other Spark Shirts creators that he was involved behind the scenes and he approved it and stuff like that, that is not true of the features. The features get developed so far in advance. It seems like the Disney Plus show that's a Rashomon style thing, he was involved in that decision, but everything else that we have heard, including Lightyear, all the movies were approved before he got there. So in terms of the feature side, the only thing we've seen with, although he was obviously helping develop them, help write them, things of that nature, he did not help. He did not greenlight those. So in terms of things that are being greenlit, we won't see that till later in the decade, which is kind of interesting actually. But I was surprised by the Lightyear decision, but I have a feeling that was not Lasseter. That was just Bob Iger or something. Man, is Buster making a lot of noise? Okay, I'm going to go get Buster, and we'll put Buster on, and then we're going to talk about Family Video. And I will be right back. I'll be right back. Hold on. Let's go get Buster. You're making a lot of noise. Do you want to be on the stream? Do you want to just be your stream? Whoa. Do you want to say hi? Hello. You okay? Hey. Say hello, Nintendo. Hello, chat. Okay. There we go. Okay. Sorry. He was being loud in another room. All right. How's Buster going? Buster is busting loose. I'm sure he'll meow about not being in the room. He just has to leave. I guarantee you that. All right. So, Nintendo said hi back. Family Video, which was the last video rental store chain, has announced they are closing all locations. I think this was inevitable. There are some rental stores around in Brooklyn and other places, but for the most part, we, it's kind of over, unfortunately. I think Family Video, I know Chris Stuckman made that video where he went there with some other guy or something. It's just hard to do that with streaming now, and I just don't think it's as viable, unfortunately. I do think there's ways to do that, but I don't know. I just think with streaming, it's just sort of over. I mean, they fought the good fight as long as they could, but the problem is like, how do you like clean video? Like for that, like do you clean the whole case? Like how would you do that? I think for safety reasons, people are just going to do streaming. You know what I mean? Anyway, we have a super chat from Will. Will said, Pete's got 4 critically acclaimed films under his belt. Man knows when to quit while ahead. By the way, check out Stanton's credits past Finding Dory. I think you mean Stranger Things, right? He did Stranger Things. Which episodes? I forget. But he did a couple Stranger Things. So, cheers to you, Will. Thank you for the super chat. I never went to Family Video. I was aware of it. But I think, hey, Kit the Mystical. I think, I just think it's sad for them. I wish it could have lasted longer. Unfortunately, it did not. That's kind of what inspired me to do Video Store Memories, because it's like, oh wow, it's really over now. It's not coming back. So, good for you, Family Video, for going as long as you did. Apologies for leaving. I guess, Mr. Beast could have rented everything in the store and maybe it would have survived. It's all Mr. Beast's fault. We should just blame him. He's the one who killed video stores. Definitely. Absolutely. Anyway, don't tell him that. He didn't. He's a nice guy. I've never met him. What do I know? Anyway, so Universal, despite not kind of ruining all of Peacock, did announce actually a cool idea, and I wanted to bring this up because it is really cool. If you have not seen Universal Monster, some of the Universal Monster movies, they will be released on the Fear the Home of Horror YouTube account for 1 week. So if there's which are pretty easy to find, but I think these will be good quality copies. So if you haven't seen like the classic Universal Monster movies, you can through their YouTube channel. I'm going to just say out the schedule so you know about it. On January 15th, which is next Friday, both Dracula and The Mummy will be on. Both are great films, by the way. Not the Brendan Fraser one, the original, which is great. Let me do the super chat here. Zane Powers, cancel Mr. Beast. He killed video stars. Cheers. Don't get me in trouble with him. Cheers. On January 16th, you get Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, both excellent films. And then on January 17th, when these come out at 8 p.m., so it's just that weekend we get them all. That's kind of crazy. So next weekend, a lot of Universal Monster movies. You could do a cool marathon. The Invisible Man, The Wolfman, and Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. The only one I haven't seen in a while and want to see again is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. So maybe I'll do that. But that's a really cool opportunity. So if you've not seen some of those, I think you should. All right. So Street Gang How We Got to Sesame Street will premiere at the 2021 Sundance Film Festival. There's certain times you can see it on January 30th at noon, on February 1st at 10 a.m. A ticket to watch it is $15. I'm excited for that movie. It sounds cool. I don't know if I will get to spend $15, but we'll see about that. And before we talk about Warner Brothers for way too long, I'm going to talk about Dr. Dre. Right, I think before all the chaos that happened this week, Dr. Dre suffered a brain aneurysm. Apparently he is okay. That was scary because I was just like, wow, I'm going to lose Dr. Dre too. Come on, I just can't. We had a pretty big, huge week for hip hop losses there, but he's apparently doing all right. I wish him the best. I hope he gets to make some more music and stuff like that. So yeah. All right. So Warner Brothers. First off, before we get to the Walter Hamada, Ray Fisher stuff, which I'm sure is totally what everyone came to this show for today. Everyone's like, talk more about Walter Hamada. Warner's is working out with Bruce Parker. Is that an Eminem reference? If so, awesome. I think it is. So Warner's has been working out a deal with Legendary over specifically Godzilla and Kong and Dune. They're working them out in different ways. Neither deal is done, but what's going on with Godzilla and Kong is actually interesting. So one of the bigger things with the HBO Max and Warner Media deciding to do this, like every theatrical thing goes on the streaming service and in theaters at the same time. Sorry. In theaters at the same time thing is the profit participation thing, as well as the fact that Legendary paid for like most of Dune and Godzilla vs. Kong, so they're a little PO'd because they would get a lot of profits from that. So what they are saying is they want to be paid a certain amount for what they feel they would have made. What makes this more complicated is that Netflix basically said that their movie is worth 225 around. I think it might be 225 million, but it's over 200 million. So they want to get paid for their movie being worth 225 million. So that's what's probably going to happen, it looks like, because they are like, hey, we have an evaluation of our movie because you wouldn't let us sell it to Netflix for 225 million. So we are using that as our evaluation, which is kind of an interesting little game they're kind of playing, but they have a point. They have a point. So good for them. Good for them on that one. I was like, holy shit. In terms of the thing with Dune, supposedly Denis Villeneuve really just wants it to go theatrical. He doesn't want the HBO Max thing because Dune will totally make money in a very bad theatrical market. Like, here's the thing. Like, I'm not against Denis Villeneuve. I'm not against the Dune movie. But the fact that they are like so, like, if this gets in theaters, we can make multiple Dune movies. Guys, there's no fucking way that's happening. Like, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Like, just like take the L on this. They're doing you a favor. Like, just come on and just like say, hey, Warners, can we make another one after this or something like that? Like, don't, like, you are not gonna make $300 million off the Dune movie. Like, maybe worldwide, but not in America. Just cut it out. Like, I know they scammed a lot of big stars to be in this movie, giving them proper participation, but it is just like, it is sort of a joke. Like, I like Dune, my dad loves Dune, all that stuff. I'm not like pissed off at Dune. It is just like not the property to be playing this game with, but they are playing this game with, so good luck to you, I guess. But they're trying to work out a deal with Denis Villeneuve to have it go theatrical. A lot of people are saying if Dune gets this deal, then Lana Wachowski would also want that with Matrix 4. Lana Wachowski, by the way, has not made a statement on any of this. So Lana Wachowski might be like, don't involve me. Like, I'm fine with this. I don't care. Or she might actually, like, really care. We don't know. But it's similar. Move over Marvel. There's a new king in town. Do you mean Denis Villeneuve? Or Dune? Maybe. Cheers to you, St. Powers. Or Mr. Powers, or Mr. Zane? I'm not sure. This is similar to how Warner's operates, because when Tarantino almost went to Warner's, What happened is they wouldn't do a certain deal with him, which was that he wanted the copyright to his film after 20 years, which he got at Sony, and they didn't want to do that because they didn't want to have to make that deal with Christopher Nolan. So this is just how Warner's is. They just don't like to make deals like that, but we'll see what happens. They've sort of hinted that the big announcement, like if the theatrical market recovers, halfway through the year, it won't. But if it does, they will, take it back and not release them straight to HBO Max. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting what we're going to see with that. But apparently they are working out with that. But it does seem like Godzilla vs. Kong will still be going to HBO Max. Dune, they're trying to do something else with. We're going to see that could lead to a lot of reverberations if Dune gets that deal before Matrix 4, which a lot of people are saying they should move to 2022. I do not keep up with comics. I'm sorry. So Walter Hamada has re-upped his deal with Warner Brothers, with DC Films, and Ray Fisher has basically said he will not work for DC Films with Walter Hamada there, which means he is out of the Flash movie. The Ray Fisher thing, I do support him, and I do support what he has revealed, particularly about Joss Whedon. He hasn't revealed as much. He acts like there's more, and I'm not against him having an issue with them. But a lot of people have brought up, are you going to, tell us what happened? Or are you just going to keep alluding to things? Because a lot of people are asking, what's going on with your representation? You're not wording this correctly. There's been kind of a lot of, actually valid points about Ray Fisher. Regardless of it. And people who normally agree with this sort of stuff are could you just be, clear what happened other than the thing you said about Joss Whedon with that one actress who he lightened her skin and stuff, and that's bad. I'm not saying that's not bad, but he keeps insinuating Jeff Johns and Walter Hamada are evil. What? How? Just that thing? Is there other things? He just keeps doing this, and I think a lot of people are sort of questioning his integrity because we almost don't have an integrity because we don't know him. He's been in Justice League, that scene in Dawn of Justice, and these tweets, and it's dude, I don't know what is going on. Just you need to clear this up because you just look kind of weird right now, and it's I don't just give and it's it stinks because I don't want to agree with the shittier YouTube things that are this guy's a crybaby and stuff. I don't really feel that way, but I do feel it's you're not if you really have issues with these people and you refuse to work with them and Warner's, it sounds to me why aren't you revealing stuff? Because you're just you're torpedoing whatever this career was, and you didn't have this huge standout role anyway, and there's all these rumors about how hard he is to work with and stuff. It's I don't not believe you. It's just you need to clear this up because it is just not working. I just don't get the Ray Fisher thing at all. He just has to, I'm sorry, he has to either say it or shut the fuck up. It's just you need to pick one because we're just in this weird position. Everyone is reporting on this. It's if he said Walter, I saw Walter Hamada do this, that, and this and that, and it's just a lot of people are saying the rumors they weren't actually very serious things. It's just the Joss Whedon thing was, and it's no one's sure. So I hope I really hope he just rips off the Band-Aid because it just feels this thing is constantly going on. And Sinram brings up Ray Fisher may be legally constrained from giving details. Cheers to you, Sinram. I agree with that, but thank you for the super chat, sir. I agree with that, but then why did he reveal the Joss Whedon thing? It just, confidentiality agreements can be broken. Look at what happened with the Weinstein stuff. My issue isn't just that he has said the things, it's just he keeps bringing that up, and I feel he could either silently pull away from Warner Brothers, or he could reveal things. And I feel like the way he's doing it is just not. It's more of the communication than the issue. I don't know. I think if he has legitimate issues, he shouldn't work with them, and I agree with him. But I just like, please do that. I did hear about Michael Apted. That will be in the Obits at the end of the show. So the big David Hasselhoff thing from SpongeBob the movie is up for sale for $100,000. So if any of you have $100,000, you can buy that. The Kid Cosmic trailer, Craig McCracken's new show that will be on Netflix, I believe on February 1st. I didn't write the date down because I'm a big stupid. It looks great. It has, similar to Hilda, has kind of a graphic design, a graphic novel, comic booky kind of style. I think it looks really cool. It looks to me like more of an animator fan show than a kid show, but we'll see what happens when I actually watch it. I haven't watched it. I like what he's making now because he is making more weirder shows. And actually, what's funny is back in if there was a YouTube back in the Powerpuff Girl days and all that, the Craig McCracken Gendy Tarkovsky drama. Oh my God, I'd always hear about that. But no one makes videos on that. What's up with that? Come on, Roundtable. Where are you at? Where's Velska Bums? You know, where's the Craig McCracken Gendy Tarkovsky drama videos? I would love it. But see, the animations changed so much. Like, nobody cared about it. That's all. We would talk about that so much. And now, like, everyone's too young for that. Anyway, I'm not spilling no tea. But Kid Cosmic looks great. I think it'll be a cool show. I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm excited for it. I am worried that it seems like it does feel like a cult animated show to me. So I think that might be more of where it goes, but maybe it'll be something more. But I'm excited for it. It looks really fun. It has a very comic booky vibe to that. So We Can Be Heroes, which I did watch, is developing a sequel, apparently. Since Robert Rodriguez directed and wrote it and shot it and edited it, and I'm sure somehow started it and wrote the music and did the catering, and like, that's not even like a lie. I'm sure he did all those things because he's Robert Rodriguez and he's very... was it like a Russian voice, Zane Powers? Tell me if it was. Cheers to you. What was I don't remember my Gendy Tarkovsky voice. What was was it like Russian? I forget. Cheers to you, though. Zane Powers. Was it, if you tell me what it was, if you remind me, maybe I'll do it. No, wait, Movie Tea Live. Movie Tea. Anyway. But yeah, he did a lot on the We Can Be Heroes movie, so it sounds like he's going to be writing another one. That's cool. I'm glad he's getting that opportunity to do that. Congrats to Robert Rodriguez and all the success he's been having. Wait, what was it? Was it like, I am Gendy Tarkovsky? Was that my Gendy voice? Does anyone know? Yeah, why didn't Taylor Lautner come back? Like, what is he doing? Like, I don't understand that. What was his deal with that? Whatever. So in news that was just kind of was it like a Russian? Was that what it was? Someone remind me what it was. I do not remember. Zane Powers, where are you at? So there was this article this week, and I think I complained about it, and I complained about it about a site that didn't actually post it. They just posted, and they didn't like that I did that, so I apologize for that. It wasn't Screen Crush, it was a different one. But that there's this analyst who said it makes a lot of sense if Warner's and Universal merged because of their, if they did merge, they would be as big as Disney and Netflix and all that stuff. And I was sort of just like, what? Like, nobody asked you. Like, just stop it. Like, I kept seeing this thing, like, oh, Universal and Warner's might merge. I'm like, no one's saying that. Like, why are you, oh my God, the spirit of Gendy. Also, you made him Russian for something. Gendy is Russian, isn't he? He's always Russian because he's always on time. Anyway, but yeah, this forecaster put out this thing that Warner's and Universal should merge. There's literally no validity to that, and he's just making predictions and causing kerfuffle, and I don't like that kind of stuff. So if you heard that, there's no actual news to be had. MGM is up for sale. One of those studios could buy them. Why don't you talk about that? Whatever. So a Spamalot movie that was originally at Fox and then kind of left during the Fox merger, Disney merger thing. I don't know if you heard about that. Has now moved to Paramount. Hold on. Will says, most surprising twist I've seen in a while was Rob directing an episode of Mandalorian this past season. Also, the clip of him rocking his guitar with Baby Yoda is pretty epic. That is true. That is true. Cheers to you, Will. Thank you very much for your generosity, Will. Yes. So the Monty Python musical Spamalot. They've been trying to make the Spamalot movie. The script will be from Eric Idle, and it will be directed by Casey Nicholaw, who was the original Broadway choreographer of the musical. I'm not like in love with this idea, because to me, like, Spamalot isn't that Monty Python's Holy Grail? Like, do you want, that's how people get introduced to Monty Python's Holy Grail, is through like a lesser movie? Like, it kind of worked on stage, because like, it's just like, I don't know the whole deal with that. To me, it's such a stupid idea. Like, just don't, it's a stage thing. Monty Python already had Holy Grail. You're not going to do better or even come close. Like, look at what happened to the producers. Like, everyone loved that show. Then it became a movie. The musical became a movie, and everyone hated it because it's already a movie that's really good, like a classic movie. Like, and you're going to get like a novice director. Like, if you're going to get like, I don't know, probably no one would ever be stupid enough to do that. But it just, also, like, why didn't you, if you asked Terry Gilliam and he said no, that's the only way it would be remotely interesting. Noah Boser, thank you for bringing this up, by the way, in the chat, said, my word, I don't think WB will ever merge with Comcast. My God, at this point, Viacom is more likely to get bought out or merge. That's true. And the other thing, you made my brain think there, is that, no, it's not Kenny Ortega. I don't think he's involved in it. Is that the other thing about the Warner Universal thing is one's Comcast, one's AT&T. Like, that would be a way bigger merger. Like, that's the thing about it, is like, that guy brought that up, and it's like, you mean a huge telecommunications merger? Like, no one gives a shit about the movie studios at that point. Like, they're just going to be talking about, like, if AT&T and Comcast were one, that would need so much approval. It's just like, whatever. That guy's, whoever wrote that article is a fucking idiot. Like, just, what a dumbass. I really don't like that stuff. All right, so we just have a few. This is kind of the trailers and stuff, and then Obits, and then break, and then things. Also, the Nacho and Dog segment is going to be interesting. I'm going to tell you that now, because I have like a personal thing with Nacho and Dog. There's like a reason. I've been sort of saving Nacho and Dog. I was like, we're doing fucking Nacho and Dog. All right. Promising Young Woman. We've heard all sorts of crazy things about when it's coming to VOD. I've heard January 11th, based on mostly estimations that were actually fairly good estimations, so that's why I retweeted them and so forth. They sounded correct, but the actual date is now January 15th, which will be next Friday. Promising Young Woman will be on VOD, so if you've wanted to see that film, you can on, I think it's premium VOD at least, next Friday, and don't want to see it in theaters. Malcolm and Marie, which is the film we talked about a while ago, one of the first films to shoot during COVID, and did all sorts of stuff with kind of set the tone, at least for the COVID restrictions and stuff, with John David Washington and Zendaya, where they're in like this house after a big movie premiere, and he's a director and she's the girlfriend and stuff. Although, couldn't they have gender swapped that, and wouldn't that be more interesting? And really should have asked me to look at the script, guys. Anyway, I just can't. I probably would have said the original was great, and then a month like now been like, shit. But anyway, it's in black and white because they're acting all actorly and stuff. It's going to be on Netflix on February 5th, which makes it up for Oscar consideration. Word on the street is it will not be probably considered for that, but it is still getting released on February 5th. Star, the add-on to Disney Plus. Ryan sent me a trailer because I would not get a trailer because I'm American and we have Hulu, which is definitely superior. Doesn't look like Hulu is, but Star is going to be the add-on to Disney Plus. Is going to start premiering, I believe, in February. It was a nice trailer. They did a good job. There was the trailer for Lockdown, which is going to be on HBO Max. That actually looked like a lot of fun. Where Anne Hathaway and where was it Chiwetel Ejiofor? I thought it was, right? Fuck, I totally forgot who the other guy was. Now I'm gonna look it up because I feel bad. Lockdown movie. Lockdown movie. I was right. Okay, I don't feel bad. Not racist that time. So Solar Opposites is going to come back on Hulu. No, sorry, the Lockdown trailer looked actually like a lot of fun. I'm sort of into that idea. And that was shot in like the fall, like very quickly. Turn around on that. Yeah, I think we're going to see that after Malcolm and Marie shot early quarantine, Lockdown shot later quarantine. So Solar Opposites is coming back to Hulu, speaking about Hulu, on March 26th. Also, there's a film called Run, Hide, Fight, which is kind of a Die Hard meets school shooter thing, and they couldn't get a distributor, and it's like kind of a genre picture, basically, Die Hard kind of thing. And it couldn't get a streaming service, and it actually ended up being on the conservative site, The Daily Caller. It's interesting because people have been talking about this a little bit, about how other sites that aren't streaming services might start buying movies because these movies can't find other homes, which seems bizarre to me in this streaming landscape. It might just be because like that's the Daily Caller was considering something like this. It's an interesting avenue. I know BoJack made jokes like I think like the weather website is going to have content and stuff like that. But the Die Hard thing, I haven't seen this movie or even a trailer for it, but it sounded like an interesting avenue for distribution. This is kind of one of those stories where I say, let's see what's going on with this story, because it could develop into something else, like other sites. Like if the New York Times bought a documentary and said, if you sign up for the New York Times, or if you get free, you sign up for the New York Times, you get this, or you can pay an extra $5 and see this movie or something, or we'll release it on our YouTube channel. So people are saying the insinuation of this and other companies distributing films like this could happen, because since there's this kind of IP frenzy, we are going to see that kind of BoJack joke of like sites that you never thought would have original content might just be buying some shows and movies that don't have homes anywhere. That could really happen, and it has happened with the Daily Caller. That is at least interesting. I know it's a conservative site. I'm not endorsing that site, nor am I endorsing that movie. I actually haven't watched the trailer for it. But the idea of this distribution model is interesting to me. And finally, this happened today during football. Ryan told me about it, so thank you, Ryan Walterson. Is it Daily Wire? Is it? It's not Daily Caller? I heard the Daily Caller. I think it's the Daily... Yeah, I think it's the Daily... Anyway, doesn't matter. I guess it does. But, so there was this kind of short that Fox apparently is still making animation. Not the Fox Disney owns, but, well, I guess they call it 20th Century now. But the Fox company has a deal with Dennis Leary. With Dennis Leary to actually make like content for them, and they made this kind of dogs playing poker short that premiered during a football game. There's going to be more of these like shorts during commercials. They're going to keep making deal of stuff with Dennis Leary, which is interesting. It's curious because that is not what it seemed like they would do when they made the Disney deal, but we'll see about that. It's kind of interesting, at least the deal when I read about it. So I mean, the short wasn't really my thing, but it is interesting they're still making cartoons, because it seems like they weren't and now they are. I'm confused what Fox is. Oh, Will, thank you for the super chat. Said Speaking of Hathaway, finally got around to watching Robert Zemeckis' The Witch, and wow, it was even stranger than expected. CG was actually terrifying. Yes, some of those things are creepy. The Witch is a creepy story. But cheers to you, Will. And I think we just killed this Red Bull. But cheers to you. Thank you for all the super chats tonight. All right, so those are all the stories. It's getting late, and I do need to use the bathroom. And then we'll do the segments and all that. And we're running out of time here. All right, so Obits. The big one I think this week was Tanya Roberts, who is Laura's mom on that 70s show, and then was in A View to a Kill. She, I think it was like died one day, and then it turned out she was not dead, and then she did die. Basically, it seems like there was some miscommunication between family members. It's sort of unfortunate because apparently she was in the hospital the whole time. I don't know how conscious or aware of any of that she was. It sort of stinks because it ruined a fairly good grieving process for the public for that one. So I hope her family's okay. It just sounds like a miscommunication and it happens with something traumatic like that. But I always liked her as Laura's mom. And in the various, I think I've seen a bunch of stuff with her over the years. And I thought she was a very beautiful, very talented actress. As well as Marion Ramsey from the Police Academy movies, who also died this past week. I grew up with those movies. I haven't watched them in forever, but I always kind of remembered her. She had a cool presence in those. And then I think the big death this week, for me at least, was Michael Apted. Michael Apted, although he directed things like Coal Miner's Daughter, and the James Bond film The World Is Not Enough, and I think an episode of Rome, and he's directed a lot of stuff. But here's the thing with Michael Apted. His legacy is the Up series. The Up series is the greatest documentary series of all time. It might be one of the greatest documentaries of all time. Basically, what the Up series is he... I think he just worked on the first one, which is called 7 Up, where they met various children from around England, and then they catch up with them every 7 years. So there's 14 Up, 21 Up, 28 Up, so forth, and you see how these people's lives change every 7 years. He had previously expressed that he would like someone to continue that series after he died and finish it, and until everyone moves on. Sadly, I don't know who's going to do that. I know he just expressed that in interviews. That's what I had always read and heard. I hope that happens. It's a great series. If you've never seen the Up series, I highly recommend it. It is an impressive documentary, and he did an amazing job on it. I thought he was a very good director in general, but that is... I should really do a video on the Up series, because that's a major cinematic achievement, and it's very sad to have left a major director like that. So my wife and I watched it all in a row at one time, and every time one comes up, we end up watching them, and I hope they're all okay and everything. I kind of don't want updates on their Facebook. I want to know every 7 years, but and I hope Michael Apted, I don't know what the next one in the series is going on, so anyway, yeah, that was sad to hear. So when we get back, I'm going to do 2 segments, Penguin Behind Bars, and then Nacho and Dog, the Taco Bell meal ad guys. We might go a little late because it's already getting late, and I would like to do some questions, probably not as much as last time. Nacho and Dog is the more sentimental one, and then Penguin Behind Bars just because I like to do Adult Swim pilots and never got made. But anyway, I'm going to use the bathroom. I will be right back. But I want to thank you all for being here on this crazy Saturday night that it is, because this is a weird week. So thank you all for being here with me. I will be right back, and then we'll do segments and stuff. All right, cool. Yep, there we go. do. Okay. Hello, everyone. Yeah. What did Cornbread say? Oh, hey, just wanted to mention. Okay, hold on. Sorry, Cornbread. Hold on. Oh, I just wanted to mention this week before moving on. Obituary. Oh, Dave Creek. Fuck. I know I forgot someone. I'm sorry. Dave Creek did sadly die this week. He was the lead character designer on Bob's Burgers. Died during a skydiving accident this past week, and that was very sad. Thank you for bringing it up, Cornbread. Sorry about that. This week was a little crazy. I thought I'd mess with one. Jim's bathroom business is secret? I guess so. I mean, do you want it? I don't think anyone wants that as content. I don't want to share it. So, yeah. What? Okay. Anyway. Alright. So, first off, let's talk about penguins. Is there any more? I think there's a little bit in this Red Bull. Sorry. It's almost midnight. I need a little energy. Sorry, I'm going to open this just for myself. Apologies. There'll be plenty more if anyone wants to do a super chat. If not, thank you for being here, by the way. Again, cheers to you. Cheers to all of y'all. Okay. So, I'm going to talk about Penguins Behind Bars. This was a Adult Swim pilot. It only aired once in 2003. I remember seeing it again, like during some marathon or something, but I couldn't find the validity of that. So let's just say it only aired once in 2003. I know Pan already covered this, so if you want to talk about that in the chat, have fun. But he did say in his video it was pretty unavailable till about 2013, I believe, and it is currently on the Internet Archive, which is the link I tweeted out earlier today. Penguin Behind Bars is interesting because the whole idea of having an adult animation block doesn't necessarily just mean comedy. And, you know, I think that is usually what it means, unfortunately. Animation is usually kind of limited in terms of the adult or even any subject it can cover. You know, it doesn't get to do documentary that much, anything like that. Whoa, Alex, sorry. It was more the birth that surprised me. But Alex says, I actually saw Penguins Behind Bars on its airing. Holy shit, Alex. How old were you? Damn. Cheers to you, sir. Thank you for the super chat. It is sort of like Orange is the New Black with penguins. It really reminded me of an old kind of Hollywood movie where someone goes to prison. All the prison stuff like depresses the hell out of me. Alex was 8 when this came out. It just depresses me because just like freaks. It's just like the imagine of being in prison, losing your life in something like that just sounds extra depressing. And that's very much what this does. A penguin played by Lily Taylor, who the actress who was in Say Anything and the first Conjuring and all that stuff. She's basically screwed over by her husband, who is a pearl thief, and she gets kind of caught with it and sent to jail, and you see her trials and tribulations in jail. It is not a comedy. It is a drama, which surprised me. I did not watch any reviews of it before. I'd seen them before, but like years before. But when I sat down and watched this, I was surprised at how not funny it was. It's a drama. It's depressing. Like it's someone being in prison, and I like certain parts of it. I like certain ideas with it, but it basically played as like kind of a mini short film about a penguin being in prison. It almost felt like this is all you really needed. I know the creator said, you know, they had ideas for other episodes, but to me this felt like you got this character, you saw her whole arc from being new to prison, kind of living in that society, becoming a more seasoned person in prison, having her heart broken several times because finding out her, boyfriend has now like become, a politician and, screwed her over and all that stuff. But also understanding how cynical this movie is about the criminal justice system, about the prison system, about how these people are used up and spit out and just kind of stuck there forever and get in more problems and having be given more prison time and all things like that. It is just a weirdly sad show. It also has like really dumb puns like the krill thing and everything like that. I think this is more promising and interesting because the idea that Adult Swim could do different things. And originally, I guess it was all a bunch of comedies and then Cowboy Bebop, which kind of shows maybe they were interested in doing more diverse ideas of animation content. They didn't, but I think, which is sad when you look at Penguin Behind Bars, you think of what could have been. Like, wouldn't it be cool to have a drama, to have different kinds of animation? But at the same point, I feel like this is very much an isolated story. It plays like a short film about this penguin. It has a beginning, middle, and an end. And I didn't really get a sense that most pilots do, I can't wait to watch, 175 more of these or something like that. I was kind of like, okay, I saw this short, Penguins Behind Bars, and I'm sort of done. Like, where else are you going to take it? So, although I like the character, like Millie is everyone seems favorite, and like I like the ideas they do with it, and like the dumb animal puns that are played, fairly straight and everything. And I think it's a very good one short, Penguins Behind Bars. And I think it says a lot about prison in an animation setting, a lot cuter than it has any right to be. Like, this sort of thing should not be this cute. It should be way more depressing. It's an interesting thing to do with something so stylized. You shouldn't be making something this, hard and grim and things like that. This stylized, it's like an interesting idea. The whole, because most prison dramas are depressing and gross and like really real and everything like that. And you're watching this and like they're all cute penguins and they're arguing over krill and you're like, what's going on right now? So that mixture of it was kind of what makes this so special, and I think why people talk about it every couple of years. You see a review of it because it is worth talking about. It very much is, but I think it's sort of like I've covered a lot of different short animated films that do adult things in different ways because it's sort of a weird untapped thing. Like, I don't think we've ever really decided what adult animation is other than like perverted crap. But we need to do that, and I think Penguin Behind Bars was maybe the biggest attempt from Adult Swim to do something radically different. It shows at least they were open to that. If I had watched this pilot, I would have been like, can we air this a lot? Because it's pretty cool, but I have no clue, like, what are the other episodes? Like, to me, this feels like a season arc, not an episode arc, but they put it in an episode. It's a really well-written, well-structured one, but I just don't really see it as a series, but I think it is definitely worth a watch and a really strong kind of short 20-minute film about female penguins in jail. The director made kids' books where it was fairy tales with penguins in the same style. That's interesting. It's interesting you bring up kids' books. So, this next segment, I want to preface this next segment as this is a thing, believe it or not, that I probably I've talked to some people about it. I don't think I've done like it on a podcast or anything. I really haven't talked about it a lot. So some of this is new, kind of nostalgic kind of thing, which you wouldn't think this would be. But could have been a decent miniseries. Jordan Slothlow, you have a good point. Or should I say it's real? Beak. Cornbread. Hey, Buster. Buster's down here. All right. So Nacho and Dog. What were Nacho and Dog? They were two mascots for Taco Bell who were kicking off in the mid-90s, around 1995-96, the Taco Bell Kids menu. They were designed in kind of a Rocco's Modern Life, sort of classically Shupo, not made by either of those people, style. This was... there were kind of two characters, Nacho, who is voiced by Eddie Deason, and Dog, who I don't know who the voice was by. There isn't a lot about these guys online, but why it's a particular interest of of mine. Buster, what are you doing with the lights back there? Can we see Buster back there? When you were back there, could we see you? I don't even know. You're distracting me. No, I don't think you could. Were you okay? Buster, king of the streams. So, oh. I'll retweet Ace Win the Writers thing when I can see it. So, Nacho and Dog. Yeah, so they advertised everything from things like having various selling toys like Goosebumps toys. They sold the Star Wars Special Edition toys, which I still have a lot of that line. It's actually a cool Taco Bell giveaway thing. Earthworm Jim, The Masked Rider, and Batman, the animated series. That ad probably has the best animation of all of them. They even did a movie ad one, which is a perfect, like maybe my favorite because I like movies. They have one where they dive into guacamole. They have all sorts. It's just basically this cat and this cat and dog who, like hanging out and eating Taco Bell. And at one point he has to get his nose fixed, and the other one removes, I think, the other one's nose and then uses it as a bowling ball. Just kind of weird cartoon stuff. Eventually they would get rid of him in 1997, and then the Taco Bell Chihuahua would take over. But I would say he didn't really take over because the Taco Bell Chihuahua, let me say this, was a mascot for the entire brand. Thank you, Ryan Walsh. I should have asked Ryan Walterson this. Robert Paulson is the dog, Eddie Deason is Nacho, and Joe Sarla is the announcer. All great. I didn't know. I couldn't find that information, so thank you for... I couldn't find much about Nacho and Dog. But yeah, so Nacho and Dog, it ended in 1997. You got certain things in the Taco Bell Kids Meal, which they helped launch, actually. Sorry. Let me start. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. But yeah, so the Taco Bell Chihuahua was a mascot for the entire restaurant. Nacho and Dog sort of ended around that time, but to me they were just for the kids menu. They were just on kids animation programming. They were not for the entire restaurant. So the idea that they were stopped because of the Taco Bell Chihuahua is a bit of a misnomer because they're sort of different mascots, whatever. But the kids menu, you got a soft or hot. Oh, you can recognize. Of course, Ryan Walters can recognize the voices. I should have just sent him the audio. The Taco Bell Kids menu, which did not last past 2013, had a hard or soft shell choco chips, a cinnamon twist, a drink, and a toy. Eventually got rid of the chips when the Super Size Me thing was happening, but eventually they stopped doing a kids menu in 2013. But this is not really why I'm talking about this. Why I'm talking about this is, so the guy who helped create them, or at least design them, and I'm not sure exactly what his role was this guy, James Primus. He was a dad actually in my neighborhood growing up, and how I was friends with his son a little bit. We were kind of in the same friend group, but I didn't go to his house that much. But I hadn't been to his house. So his dad came in for kind of professionals come into your middle school day, and he came in and basically was like, oh, and I make Nacho and Dog, these animated logos for Taco Bell. And there was kind of a day we could hang out with them and talk. It was kind of I forget why I got to hang out with this guy, but my enthusiasm for this guy was insane. And anytime I was in any social situation with this guy's dad, I would just talk his ear off and learn as much as I could about animation. I know he went on to make Generation O, which I didn't know actually until researching this, but he was always very nice to me. And I always thought Nacho and Dog were the coolest because I knew someone in animation. This is the only person I knew at all at the time. And there were 2 times, and he was actually very nice to me, by the way, incredibly nice guy. I remember talking his ear off that time, and he just let me ask every question I wanted. And that time the internet didn't have as much info, so he basically, I remember he told me the entire John K. Ren and Stimpy story. This was in the 90s, so no one knew what he would become anything like that. But he just like laid out that whole thing. He told me like what designs he liked. I remember we both didn't like the designs of Dario when it first started, and were confused why Mike Judge wasn't involved. He was like, I always thought that was weird. Like, why isn't he involved? And they didn't, again, like no one explained these things. So you just kind of had to guess with people. And I remember another time I met him on a family trip. We just sort of ran into him, and his son wasn't there. His son was with someone else, like wasn't there. So I just he like let me talk to him for way too long. I don't know if he was like, God, this kid is obnoxious or or not. I want to thank him if he ever sees this for being as cool as he was about it. But Generation so basically Generation O kind of was a big point in his career, at least, because he also did children's books. He's done things like Kettle and Potty, Destroy Happy World, and 12 Things to Do Before You Crash and Burn, all sorts of stuff like that. But when he worked on Generation O, one of the people he worked on was Suzanne Collins, who would then go on to write the Hunger Games books. He apparently, according to her Wikipedia and other things, he encouraged her to write children's books and to get into books and get into writing, which she then did, and then eventually, like 12 years later or something, wrote the Hunger Games. I don't think he's responsible for Hunger Games, but he at least encouraged her to do so. And they wrote a children's book, or made a children's book that he illustrated after her success with Hunger Games. So congrats to him on that. That's pretty cool. I don't know what happened to him. I couldn't find a Twitter, and I don't think he remembers me at all. But I always thought these were really cool little things. I'm always disappointed there is so little online about this, so that's kind of why I wanted to make it. And I know this video was about me talking to an animator in the mid-90s. I don't know if that's interesting or not. But, and in fact, I was like obsessed with finding this guy. I would ask like Ian and anyone in animation, like, do you ever know James Primus? And they'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, no, no one knew what I was talking about forever. So that's also just so people, I don't know, I kind of just wanted to do this because it sort of meant a lot to me. It was like someone who would hear me exhaustively talking about the cartoons I wanted to talk about, but it was also like a fun thing. It looked really cool. It made me want to go to Taco Bell. I thought it was a cool way to introduce it. It was very 90s that it felt in this style. I think it was an interesting way to take the classically Shupo Rocco's modern lifestyle in a different way. You can tell he's into children's book. His art style looks sort of very 90s within that kind of thing, but I think he differentiates it, because you look at like how when they're in the movie theater, everyone else is like colored differently, so those guys pop, so you almost like don't notice that there's a full audience of people in that movie theater. It was he does interesting design choices within that. They eventually, Nacho and Dog would get their own toys, one of them sitting on a couch that would kind of ride along, one of them in a taco kind of couch thing. You could get individual ones where one would have a sticker thing and the other one have like stick out its tongue and stuff. I'm almost curious to go onto eBay and buy some of them, just because I have pleasant memories of Nacho and Dog. They sorry, my nose is of course itching at this. They were really kind of cool, weird 90s pitch men basically. It's just kind of this weird thing. I don't think it's as well remembered as maybe it should, and maybe I just remember it because this guy was at my middle school talking about animation and drawing, and I was just like so hungry to talk about anyone who did anything creative, that he was willing to hear me talk way too long about it. A big thank you to him. I think they are cool characters. I wish they lived on more. I think it's like anyone who's into 90s nostalgia, check these out. I will have the playlist linked below, and this is a separate video, of course. But check out the playlist I tweeted out today. They're cool little cartoons. It's a weird dive into this weird time in the 90s where people wanted to be like the Nickelodeon stuff, but they wanted mainstream stuff, wanted to be stranger and things like that. And I think this has a strange kind of weird homemade vibe that I think James Primus stuff works really well with. I never watched Generation O. I can't really compare it to that. These are just my memories of that, and my memories with him, and thinking Nacho and Dog were the coolest thing. I'm thinking Nacho and Dog were kind of like the coolest weird. Whoa, what was that? And thinking Nacho and Dog were the kind of the coolest, weirdest thing, and just like having an inch of kind of seeing someone who had something on TV was always the coolest. Maybe my own nostalgic memories are too wrapped up in this, But I always look back on them fondly, and it was cool rewatching those cartoons. And I'd always get excited when those ads came on because I was like, oh, cool. I know a Nacho and Dog thing. So I don't know if I cared as much before I met him. I don't remember that, but I definitely cared after. And it was really nice to have a grown up to talk about this weird stuff with and go on as much as he did. So he was always a cool guy. And I think Nacho and Dog are pretty cool. So check them out as well. And they're just kind of like a weird kind of time capsule from the 90s that unfortunately I think too many people have forgotten about. But I think they're actually kind of worth a little more discussion than they've gotten. All right. We must donate these toys to Jim. Thank you. I'm glad people I just wanted to I was like, why haven't I done this? Like, it's kind of cool. I think I told some of the cartoon community and everyone was surprised. I remember a couple of people were like, whoa. And I don't really tell that story that much. Anyway, man, my nose always gets really itchy at them. Because Buster gets on my nose and anyway, that's gross. Sorry. All right, so we have 3 Patreon questions, and then we'll do questions from you guys. So first one is from Austin. Said, I saw Save Spectacular Spider-Man trending on Twitter, so I wanted to know, do you think that the show has the possibility of coming back, and what would you like to see in a 3rd season continuation of it? I have not watched that show in a little bit, although when I started Pizza Party, I was watching it quite regularly, actually. I haven't watched it in a while. I would, Buster gets on my thing, and then there's hair. Wait, sorry. I wouldn't mind if it started, there's a super chat. Okay, hold on. I wouldn't mind if there was a follow-up that started now and picked up a little later. I guess I would like to see the Black Suit thing was great. I wouldn't mind if they did the Clone Wars. I'm sure they do the Clone Saga. I'm sure they do a better job. I wouldn't mind. Man, it's been a little bit, but I would say I don't want to say the Clone Saga. Maybe if they did 2099, maybe I would like to see them in the Spider-Verse continuity. I would like to see them take on Miles Morales, actually. So those are some answers. Those are some answers. Let me get the super chat and do the other 2 Patreon questions. Did you ever see the Karate Kid cartoon? I actually saw it when it aired. Cheers to you, Medela Butterfly. Here's a real 80s memory for you. I remember my mom would take me to karate class, which she claims she spent way too much money on. Since I was, I did not get that into it and was just a disagreeable, annoying kid. But I remember complaining that I had to go to it and couldn't watch the Karate Kid cartoon. Which makes no sense. I could have actually learned karate, but I just wanted to watch the Karate Kid cartoon. I think at that time I'd only seen the movie once or something. Jordan Bouchard asks, this was the late question. If you didn't see it in time, it's okay. Like the show Firefly had the film Serenity released years after Firefly was canceled, which canceled show would you choose to have a movie release to continue the story or tie up loose ends with? I was actually thinking that would work better with Community. I would not like another season, but I wouldn't mind a movie. I can't think of any other shows like that. I wouldn't mind another Batman the Animated Series movie. I know there's always talk of doing more. It kind of stinks because they never stopped making stuff, so I've noticed the interest isn't as much because that Batman Harley Quinn thing is technically part of that universe, and I don't think anyone liked that. But I wouldn't mind a movie that kind of does a Halloween or Halloween Kills reboot thing and is more in the classic style. That I would actually like. I feel like you could do more with something like that. I don't know, but in terms of your thing, I wouldn't also mind a Mystery Science Theater thing to wrap up the Jonah years and move on to the idea of Emily taking over, which obviously she is. They haven't announced it, but I think we all know. Anyway, Sinram asks, are there any inanimate objects that you would like to see anthropomorphized for an animated film or series that haven't been done already? I wouldn't mind phones. I think remotes. Subways. I think I can't think of anything. Spears. I don't. Has that already been on records? I don't know. There's too many things. Chairs. Let's say chairs. Pixar's chairs. All right. Ransom Film, I believe, had the first question. If that, by the way, if there is a question in here, please leave it in the comments of this video. If you're even watching this, you want me to answer, do that, or please go to the Discord and go to the Ask Jim section. Ransom Film asked, do you ever feel like you're struggling to finish editing a video? I get this feeling a lot when I edit a big video like Honest Critic. What's a good tip for that? Also, new Honest Critic every Monday and Friday. Check out Ransom Film's YouTube channel, by the way, everybody. Did Honest Critic on Spider-Man 2 recently, which is pretty cool. But I wanted to say, what I usually do is, I think a lot of people make this mistake with editing where they'll just listen to the music that's in the video. I try to listen to some instrumental music, like either I listen to some DJs, I listen to jazz, things like that. Just have this constant music going, and it sort of like motivates me to edit. It helps me concentrate a little bit more. I try to just think of like, I need to get this done within this timeline. Sometimes you just don't, it doesn't happen, and don't get discouraged. Don't get too discouraged. If you're editing something and you don't finish, and you don't think you can finish it to the best of your ability, or your mood isn't working. Like I talked about, I didn't do We Can Be Heroes this week because I knew that was not going to be a good shoot. So I just didn't do it. Just think of two things when you're editing and making stuff. Will this be the best that I can make it? And could I finish it within that time? And if the answer is no to one of those, think of how to get that to work. But I would say when you're making something, just try to spend the amount of time you need to spend on it. I would say that's not a great answer, but it's kind of how it is, I guess. I hope I answered that right. I see there's a super chat from Sinram, which I will now get to. I vote for coins traveling through vending machines. I like that one. Cheers to you, Sinram. Thank you for the super chat. That would be interesting. Just like one coin's journey. Anyway. Question. So is Norm of the North is Norm of the North a good movie because kids would like it? No. Norm of the North. Don't show any kids that. Oh my God. That's like cruel. Cornbread said, thoughts on the possibility of Disney making a Star Wars Disney Plus show focused on the Cantina Wolfman for the original theatrical cut of Star Wars? I'm sure they will. Maybe it'll be in Star Wars Visions or something. I'm sure that will happen at some point. Major Mekazawa, this one's kaiju related, but I was wondering if you've seen some Gamera movies. I love the 90s movies trilogy. We used to watch Gamera a lot when it was on TNT, but I haven't seen the 90s ones. I've heard they're good. I kind of need to go back on Gamera. I've heard some good stuff about that. Nathaniel Foga, thoughts on the Burger King Kids Club? I know everyone seems to hate them, particularly Saber, because of stuff like that. I used to love them when I was a kid. I was a kid when that thing launched. I thought they were cool. And Wheels, who then made a comeback in We Can Be Heroes. Anyway, Nathaniel Foga, favorite fast food mascot? I'd say Nacho and Dog. Sleepy 4Cat Productions. I mean, it's probably Ronald McDonald, but Sleepy 4Cat Productions. What do you think Turkish Booby Crap Live is like? I have no clue, but it's probably in Turkish. It's probably has music, maybe there's more fun things. I don't know. Bruce Parker, are there any good musicians turned directors besides maybe Rob Zombie? Musicians turned directors. That's an interesting. Didn't Prince direct some stuff? Musicians. What makes me think? I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head. I mean, some did music video, like Billy Corgan directed some Smashing Pumpkins stuff that was pretty good, but I don't think he did feature films. Or same with Beck. But I don't know, like feature film directors. I can't. Oh, Neil Young did that cool movie. Maybe Neil Young. Let's just say Neil Young. Since you mentioned Rome, how do you think it compares to its successor, Game of Thrones? I think I probably liked Rome more than Game of Thrones, but I'm not a big Game of Thrones person. I have pleasant memories of watching Rome, but I don't remember anything about it really. Which yeah. Anyway, what are your favorite kind of tacos? Probably chicken or beef, pork, maybe. I don't know. Sorry, that's not an answer. I'd probably say like chicken, tinga, probably. Thoughts on air popped popcorn and seasoning? What's with this all this popcorn stuff today? I don't know about air popped. I think they're okay. Just butter usually. What's your favorite album of 2020 from Dex Sternherder? I don't know if I listen to anything that current this year. I don't think I did. Maybe I would just say Song Machine because I probably can think of that one. So let's just go with that. Ace the Wind Rider. What actor do you think you could kick their ass? Obviously not Bruce Willis. Okay, nice. Ace the Wind Rider. I don't think I'd want to. Maybe Michael Cera. Bruce Parker. Are you aware of the Cartoon Network short Wedgies? No, I have. Did they release new shorts or something, or is it just an older short? Maybe I'll check that out. Maybe that'll come out. I'll put that on my list. Zane Powers, have you ever seen a review or of a sequel or even some random talking about where they misremembered the original and got mad that it wasn't following their imagined continuity? I've heard people say that. I haven't seen a review do that though. I've never seen a review do that. That's interesting. Oh, hold on. That's an interesting question. I never. Did I miss something? No. We should probably wrap up sort of soon. But, hold on. Oh, I'm lost my. Did you know? Oh, not plausible. Did you know the original cut of Scooby-Doo live-action movie was given an R rating due to a misinterpreted joke? No, I didn't. I haven't seen that Scooby-Doo live-action thing in like forever, so I didn't grow up with it, so it's not as big of a deal to me. I think. Austin, we know you like novelty trading cards. Oh man, who? Hold on. Super chat from. Oh, hey, Mo Kitsch. Hey, thanks for all the great content. Currently working backgrounds for an animated short. Oh, cheers to that animated short. Send it to me when it is done, and good luck with that. Cheers to you. Thank you, Mo Kitsch. All right. How about let's do 5 questions, and then because we are running late. There's a lot of questions. Let's see. From Zane Powers. Well, Zane Powers gets to. Let's do someone. Oh, here is an interesting question, and it's a good thing to bring up actually from Cornbread. Remember the Oswald the Lucky Rabbit Disney Plus show announced a long time ago? What do you think is happening with it? It wasn't talked about during the investors meeting, unless I missed it. I don't remember that being brought up either. I know they talked about doing shorts. I don't know what's going on with that. That is a good point, and it seemed like they were really pushing for it to come out soon when Disney Plus launched. So I hope the Oswald the Lucky Rabbit show happens soon. Any comment on your glabbing debts from being on the Puppybowl contenders? That's funny. Thanks, Zane Powers. Black Saxon. Well, when are they going to reboot The Simpsons? I'm sure that'll happen in my lifetime, and then we'll all hate it, I guess. Kidding. Knock First Reunion be you doing the Turkish Star Wars piece finally. I don't think it would be that good, so probably I don't know when that'll ever happen. Embla T, have you seen the 40-year-old version on Netflix? It's like Pixar Soul, except imagine it ends with Green Book winning Best Picture and Don Sharpley coming back and did a diss track. That's interesting. I'm curious about that. What would a live-action Simpsons look like? Jaundice. I think a live-action Simpsons is just the Honeymooners, probably. What's a canceled film that you're glad didn't happen from Nathaniel Foga? Probably some biopic. Yeah, probably a Spielberg biopic or something. What's a weird but true fact? The sky's blue? I don't know. All right, we should probably end this. Let me find a question that is. I try to find people. Oh, Nick Cave, you're right. Pig Pancake, do you think Broadway will die due to Corona? I hope it won't. I think they'll bring it back, but it'll be interesting. Black Saxon Wiggle, did you see the Dead Kennedys promote Mitt Romney? No, but that's bizarre. Who's someone? Did I do? No, Bruce Parker, that wasn't a question. What kind of hairdryer do you use? I don't. I just dry my hair. I'll do one more pig pancake one, I guess, just because, and then we'll call it a day. Have you seen the anime Lupin the Third? I was introduced to it through Castle of Cagliostro, which I'm sure I said wrong. I have reviewed the first anime Lupin the Third, the first one that Hayao Miyazaki worked on. I reviewed that and Castle of Cagliostro. I want to see the new Lupin the Third movie, actually. I would like to see that. I've been wanting to see that for a long time. Oh, Zemeckis' Yellow Submarine, I'm very glad was canceled. Actually, I will say that. So yeah, technically never owned the Oswald show. It was leaked. Really? But I thought they did own that. Anyway, Caesar Pizza says, what obscure silent actor is your favorite? I would say Charles Ray. I always like Charles Ray. All right, so I think that is it. Yeah, I think that's it for tonight. Thank you all for being here. We went a couple minutes, 3 minutes over, not a major amount. But thank you all for being here. Sorry it wasn't like a ton of news, but it's been, let's just say, a weird week. But I'm glad to end this weird week with you guys. And have a good night. I don't think I'll have another video until Tuesday. I'm not really doing the Monday thing anymore. And I don't have a video ready for Sunday. So it'll probably be Tuesday. And I hope to have Party Monster out Wednesday or Thursday. And maybe the Lupin thing. Glad you asked the Lupin question. Anyway, thank you all for being here, spending the Saturday night talking about movie crap as we do. Take care of yourselves, chill out, have a good Sunday, and I will see you guys next time. And subscribe if you would like to.